Hey everyone, Ben here from DreamTeam, and today I'm going to walk you through the DreamTeam's capabilities. I'm going to explain why customers use and love DreamTeam, and how you can use it to make your processes significantly more efficient, automated, and transparent. So first of all, what is DreamTeam? DreamTeam sits in the category of an HRMS. We are one place to automate your processes, automate all of the manual tasks that you need to do. We're also a single source of truth for all of your people data. But we're much more than just an HRMS. We've built completely fundamentally different to how a typical HRMS is built. We built in building blocks, which means everything is extremely customizable and flexible, meaning the platform will work for you rather than you working for the platform. So that you will see as we carry on walking through the capabilities, but keep that in mind as time goes on. So, like I said, DreamTeam is a single place to store all of your employee data. Over here, in the people directory, we will see all of your employees in one place. We will be able to see both the pending arrivals, the terminated, right, all in one place. And you can now start accessing all of your employee data. Now, let's say I want to see more information. I can click into any employee. I can see the publicly available information, and I can click full profile. And here I can see all of the information that we want to store about the employee. We can see their job, who they report to, the team, the office, things like that. Now, DreamTeam is fundamentally different to an Excel because we have context. What does that mean? When I say that Ross Geller is Ben's manager, DreamTeam understands what the significance of that is, which means automatically, right, if we look at the org chart, right, so let's collapse it all, and we look under Ross, right, we'll see that Ben is automatically underneath him. So your entire org chart is built and updated live as you update the data from your own employees. Now, what you'll also see, right, is within this view, is we have multiple different tabs for multiple different use cases. And this takes me back to what I said originally, which is DreamTeam is built to be extremely customizable, flexible, and user-friendly. Now, in your specific company, right, you may not want to store specific information, let's say about emergency contacts, but you do want bank account details. So all you would need to do is go into the account settings, go to employee fields, right? And here you can edit every single tab, add new groups, and add new fields. So what I could do in theory is I can add a new group. We will call this, let's say, bank account details. And now I can add the type of data that I want to store. So the first thing is going to be a text, and it's going to be bank account, bank name. Right. Then let's go ahead and duplicate that, and let's call that bank branch number, etc., etc. Right? And as this has been added, all of your employees will be able to, you'll see this information on any employee's profile. So we'll go back to Ben over here, and we'll see the bank account details. Over here, I can add, I don't know, let's say Chase, and we can add my branch number also. Right? So as we add a different field, we can store any information that we want. In my demo account, you'll see that I have IT and operations to store every single software subscription that someone is using, all of their technical equipment. We can do monthly KPIs, we can do weekly one-on-ones, we can do engagements, we can do new hire check-ins. The use cases are honestly endless. Right? So anything that you want to store within DreamTeam about your employees' data can be done here. Additionally, another major value that DreamTeam provides, right, is the ability to stay on track when any data changes. A lot of our customers come to us and they say, yeah, so the second I add DreamTeam and all my employees add their, let's say their bank account details or change their address, I am no longer in the loop. I no longer know that the address has changed. And so for that reason, we've got automations. This allows you to notify whoever you want when any data changes. So let's say, okay, when address changes, right, then let's send an email to Rosa, who is our HR, and let's send it to the manager. Now, this manager is dynamic, right? And again, we have that context. So whoever's whoever, let's say Ben's manager is, if Ben changes his address, will get notified. But if Tom changes it, someone else will be notified. And now we have a way to notify whoever we want when any data changes. Okay, so we've walked through how to create custom fields. We've walked through how to create automations to be notified about all of those changes. Another major value that DreamTeam has is our time management. Employees can use it as a single place to book time away, to clock in and clock out every day, and I'm going to walk you through that. What you'll see over here is every reason that an employee can book time away, right? So we've got sick, we've got working from home, we've got maternity. Over here, we've got all of the bookings that I've ever done historically. Right? And on the right, we'll see book time away. I can come in, I can say I want to take vacation for this entire week, right? And I'm going to give a reason, right? It's my dog's birthday. We're very excited about that. And we can see how many days will be remaining in my balance. We can see how many days that I'm booking. If I need, I can add a file, right? And now I'm going to click save. My balance has been updated. The request has been sent to my manager. My manager will then be able to approve it, and I will be notified. In the same place, we can also clock in and clock out every day. Right? And if needed, we can come into the summary to see the full information about everything that's happened. Right? So I can see the exact days that I worked or didn't work. I can come in and populate if needed. And I can say on this date, I actually worked from 9 till, let's say, 1. And then again from 3 all the way to, let's say, 6. And we'll do the calculations for you to understand in total how many hours that you worked. We also have the ability to do quick fix. This you can switch off for your employees if you want, but you can say basically, okay, we don't want to specifically track the hours. We want to know in general if people were away. But for the hours, we can just say every single day, just say that I work from 9 till 6, save, and all of the data will be updated. So this is how an employee manages all of their time away. What you'll also see is that you'll have visibility into all of these requests in the calendar that is visible to everyone, right? So in one place, I'll be able to see that Ben is not working on this time. I'll be able to see it was Arnon's birthday, and I can see it was probably a national holiday on this date, right? And we can sync the calendar, right, to Google, to Apple, to Outlook, to whatever you want, so we can see everything in one place. And so you no longer need to come into DreamTeam to see who's away. Immediately on your work calendar, you will be able to see all of that information. Now, how do we set this up? Right? Like everything else, extremely customizable, but extremely easy. So I'm going to go to App Settings. And over here, what you'll see is time away, time tracking, and payroll cycle. The time away is one place where you can create any reason why someone's not in the office. So we've got time off, the employee saying, I'm not working on this thing, and it's up to the employee to choose when they're not working. We have working away, saying they are working, they're just not in the office, and we have holidays. You can create as many as you want, and you can create as many policies within this as you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new policy. We'll call it South Africa. And then I'm going to create all of the rules that I want. So they'll get a total of, let's say, 18 days within the year. They receive it yearly and at the start of the year. They can carry over only, let's say, 9 days from one year to the next, but it expires within 3 months. So if, let's say we carry it over from January, right? If they don't use it by the 31st of March, it expires. And we require manager approval. So you can go ahead and click save, and now we've got this new policy. We can do the same thing for national holidays, right? We can create a new policy. Let's call it South Africa again. And I'm going to import the public holidays. Now, you don't need to manually write each one, so we're just going to click import. We're going to find South Africa. I'm going to add it, and you will see automatically we've populated all of these days. And then I can click save. Another thing that's important to know is our time tracking. You can choose on what level you want to track your employees' time, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm creating a new policy. I'm going to call this policy, let's say, Monday to Friday, and then let's say part-time. Right? So I'm going to say that my employees are working from Monday to Friday, and I want to track their hours, right? So I want them to clock in and clock out every day, but they're part-time. What does that mean? It means every day I'm expecting them to only work 4 hours. What this does is this gives you the ability to say, okay, you worked overtime or undertime, right? Because we now know how many hours you're expected to work a day. And then I can go ahead and save that. Finally, we've got the payroll cycle. And the payroll cycle lets you know what periods the employee is supposed to be working and submitting their time, right? So within the US, you can say it's from the 1st to the 14th or the 15th to the last, and maybe within another country, it'll be from the 25th to the 24th. And all of this is completely customizable, and you can add it and edit it however you want. So that's how you set up the time away. Additionally, we've also got extremely powerful workflows that can be used for any use case, right? So I can basically set up a whole bunch of tasks to automatically happen based on any specific date. So I'm going to go create workflow template. I'm going to use one of our existing templates, and I'm going to use our onboarding, right? This is often the most common. And now what we have is a template with all of the tasks that need to be done when an employee starts. Obviously, we can add new tasks, and we have 3 different types of tasks. We have a manual task where the employee or the assignee just needs to say done. We have an email task, which is automatically sending an email, and we have a form. I'm going to use the form just as an example for how our workflows work. Firstly, we'll have a due date. We're telling the system, first of all, let's create a task, and let's call this pre-onboarding form. We have a due date, right, which is saying when does this task need to be due by, and it's always based on any date field within the platform. So this time it's going to be a start date, and it's going to be, let's say, 0 days before the start date. So it's effectively the same day that the employee is supposed to start, this form should have been completed by. The assignee is going to be the employee, but it's a placeholder. So whenever we say Ben is the new employee being hired or Tom is the new employee being hired, it will be the assignee will be Ben or Tom. And then you have the assignment date. And this is when the person is assigned and notified that they have this task. So I'm going to say immediately. As soon as I run this workflow, they're going to be notified. Here, we can write a template description to them. So we can say, hey, and we can pull in a variable data from the employee's profile. So we can say, hey, Ben, right, we're so excited to have you at the company joining as a, and then we can say, look for, let's say, job. You have job. So now we say as a custom success. Right? And then over here, we have the ability to create a custom form. And this is also based on the employee's field. So as you can see, we have multiple different powerful features that all work together seamlessly. So what I can say is, okay, I need your phone number, I need your t-shirt size, I need your gender, I need your, let's go, identification, let's say, nationality, passport number. You can choose every single thing that you want, right? We can call this, let's give it a name. And now we've built a full form that we can automatically send to the employees as soon as they start. Now, this can be used for onboarding, right? It could be used for offboarding, but it can be used for so many other use cases, for policies, for learning and development, for salary adjustments, promotions. The use cases here are also really maternity leave start and end date, promotions. The use cases here are really endless. Okay. The next thing I want to show you, which is similar to workflows, but it's unique and it's within its own world, is performance. Here what we do is we allow you to create your full performance cycles. So I'm going to create a new cycle. First of all, here, what you'll see are all of the existing cycles that have already been run. You'll see the status of them, if they're active, if they've ended, or if they haven't been launched yet. Right? And we can create a new cycle. Now, I can base it off a cycle that I made in the past, or I can create a new one. So I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to make a name. So let's call this performance review example. Here we have the guideline, right? So this is more information that we are basing all of this process on, right? And we are saying, please take this performance review seriously, take your time, please submit it by this date, any information that you want to give to your employees, right? And then we allow you to link this to a previous performance review cycle, right? This is important if you are also doing goals, right? So I'm going to add a previous cycle. Now I'm going to go in, and we've got an employee form and we've got a manager form. For the employee form, we can either use the previously created questions that we recommend that you use, or you can add your own questions. So let's add a rating, and let's add a multi-select, and let's add a long text so you can see each one, how they look, right? And you can write whatever you want over here, right? So is how was your last quarter? Great. You can make it required, meaning the employee has to populate this. If they don't populate this, they can't submit. And the manager form is pretty much the exact same. The only fundamental difference, right, is what you can do is you can hide it from the employee, meaning the employee will never see this answer. Most of my customers want to do something like this, a rating, and say, would you hire again? You don't want your employee to see that, and so what you can do is you can hide it from the employee. The next thing that you'll see over here is the ability to choose who will be participants. So you can say either it's a specific group or it's all employees. Let's say this is only my New York office, right? And we'll see everyone that's affected by that. Then you can click next. Here you'll see the full summary and you'll be able to create it. Now that it's been created, it's in draft. You'll be able to see all of the people that will be participants. And whenever you're ready, you can choose your dates and you can say, okay, this is going to go live from the 1st of June all the way till the end of June. And then you can launch it. And now it's scheduled on the 1st of June. Everyone will be notified. The employee in their own profile will be able to see all of their previous cycles, right? They'll be able to click on the reviews, come in and write their answers, right? So here you can write whatever you want to write is, I get on great with my manager, but I want more communication. What you can now do is refine it. Through AI, you can refine it. We will write it in a more professional way, right, to communicate as you wish to be able to communicate. And then you can click looks good and you can save it like that. Once you're done, you'll be able to submit. And now it's been submitted, it's locked, and the manager will now be able to see it if you want them to. The last thing that is important to know about DreamTeam is our extremely robust and powerful dashboard. You can basically create analytics on any process that you want. I'm going to create a new dashboard, even though we have a lot of templates that you can use. And let's do a high-level dashboard. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add new insights and reports to my dashboard. An insight is a summary of data. A report is a table with all of the raw data. So let's start with insight. First thing that I want to see is my headcount right now. Right, so we can see that it's 55, but I'm going to break it down by, let's say, by office. So now we see the full breakdown, and I'm going to add the insight. Here we can rename this, so let's say headcount by office. The next thing that we're going to do is look at, let's say, average salary. So we see the average salary, but we want to break it down, let's say, by team. Now we have all of this information, and again, I'm going to add this insight. Now, you can add it for different things, and you can add multiple. So instead of headcount, and I want to break it down by gender, right? Instead of seeing it as a bar, I can say, no, I actually want to see it as a pie, or I want to see it as a table, right? And you can add multiple breakdowns. So let's do it first by office and then by gender. And now we see the distribution upon every single office. And again, I'm going to add that. Everything is customizable, so you can move things around and make it your own so it feels and looks exactly how you want it to look. The other thing that we have is reports. The reports allow you to build a report on any field that has been added to DreamTeam. So I'm going to create a custom report and I'm going to say, okay, I want the first name, the last name, the email address, let's say the t-shirt size, right? It's a bad example because I don't have any data here, but you understand the point. Now, you can either export it directly or you can click add report, and now it will forever appear on your dashboard. Whenever you want, you can come in and export it. Now, obviously, we can add filters. So we can say, okay, for this report, I only want to see, again, the specific office. So I only want to see the New York office, right? Now we only see the New York office people, and I can export it to CSV now with additional filters added to it. One of the last things that is important to know is within the homepage, you can see a summary of a lot of different fields within DreamTeam. So you can see who's away, you can see birthdays, you can see your direct reports, but this is completely customizable. So every employee can come in here and add the different widgets that they want to add. Okay, I want to now go quickly through account settings because there's a lot of important information here that is needed to know. First of all, you can add your own logos, right, to make the platform more of your own. Every form, every email that will be sent with your own logo. You can obviously change the name. Here we already talked about the employee field, where you can add any field that you want to store any information. Here we have the security, which means if you don't want employees to use emails and password and you want them just to use Google SSO or Microsoft, you can switch that on. And here we have permissions. Permissions is really important because there's a lot of confidential information here in DreamTeam. And basically, what we have is 4 different levels of permissions. We've got the employee level permissions, manager, admin, and super admin. And everyone is an employee, right? And some people can be both an employee and a manager. It's all about what hat you're wearing at the time. When I'm looking at my own information, I'm an employee. When I'm looking at the information for someone that reports to me, I'm a manager. And for every single role level, we can create multiple roles. So we'll say employee contractor can see X, employee R&D can see Y. And you can choose exactly what fields they can see, edit, and hide about themselves. Right? So we'll say you're not able to see this information, or you are able to see this information only about yourself. At the top, you can choose what they can see about other people within the organization, so only publicly available information. For admins, you can go much more in depth. So you can say, okay, I also want them to be able to have all of this admin level permission, so for everyone in the organization, but only for a specific office, right? Or you can say, I want them to be able to add employees, but not invite employees. I want them to be able to manage all of time management, right? But not workflows. So you can build the admin permissions to be exactly how you want it to be. And then what we have is super admins who can do absolutely everything in the account. There's no limitations. Now, DreamTeam has a fortune of different integrations that you can use. Our most popular are our ATSs, our applicant tracking systems. What that means is when you hire someone from, let's say, Greenhouse, Workable, Team Taylor, etc., automatically they're added to DreamTeam, everyone's notified, and the whole process becomes automated. I recommend that you go through our entire list of integrations over here to see what is relevant to you and what is not. This was DreamTeam on a very high level. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and enjoy.